In the uncharted frontiers of spirituality. Join us as we explore the wonders of our world and beyond, all while embracing the roles of curious bystanders rather than experts. Together, we'll unravel the tapestry of existence, blending the dichotomies of knowledge and wonder. Get ready to question, ponder, and delve into the dualities that shape our understanding of reality on Duality Check. I'm Drew.
I'm Dean, and welcome to episode 99.5.
99 and a half. And sorry for missing the last update, but we had recorded a sibling podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we thought we recorded a sibling podcast. We did get the video.
We got the video, and we got the music track, but none of the vocal tracks.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, we're going to do that again. So this is kind of our in-between. We wanted that to be our 100th episode.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a little mini episode today. Just talk about a couple things.
Yeah, because a lot's gone on in the last few months.
Yeah.
Or a month or so, I guess.
So far, still no,
big overall.
No alien invasion or anything that we know of.
Yeah, no.
It's not like...
not like Arrival.
Yeah, it's not like there was some crazy thing about to happen on the very day Chris Bledsoe predicted.
Right. So yeah, we're well past Easter now.
So unless we're going back to the end of the year timeline or the next year, either way.
The one thing I wanted that I didn't even think to look at until now was whether the star of Regulus rose in the eye of the Sphinx on that day.
You know, that's a good point.
Or if anybody got a picture of it or something. Maybe we'll do some digging on a break.
Yeah, you would think someone would be
I feel like we would have seen it too.
Yeah.
Just because our algorithms are probably...
Cool. Well,
yeah, we got a few things to share with y'all and talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
So we actually got a comment.
Oh, cool.
He said, good subjects. You guys were probably burning some quality stuff before the show. Love the stash. Great show, fellas. Keep it up.
Nice. This is Oath Louvre.
Yeah. Oath Louvre. Oath of Love or something like that.
Oath F Louvre.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Cool. So did you share this? Maybe.
I think I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did. I remember seeing this. But
I saw him and a couple other people talking about this other Sphinx discovery.
There was other people too?
Yeah. But I haven't dug into it.
I haven't actually watched it yet. I wanted to watch it together.
Okay. This is a 14 minutes.
From Jay Anderson,
Project
Unity on X. He says, breaking, new Giza plateau scans locate second Sphinx. Could a giant mount of compacted sand in the Giza plateau be hiding the legendary second Great Sphinx of Giza? The new SAR/Doppler scans from the Khafre Pyramid Project suggest this could be the exact location.
All right, let's check this out.
The Giza Plateau. Professor Filippo Biondi, a satellite radar specialist with a background in radar with the Italian government, sat down with Matt Beale and stated that he had found a second Great Sphinx on Giza, buried beneath a 180-foot mound of compacted sand on the plateau. Horizontal passageways extending from deeper underground sections both show shafts that are descending down to depth. They both show horizontal tunnel systems extending outward, and they both show the same geometric internal arrangement. So what I was told quietly in Malta when I was with Filippo Bionde and the rest of the Khafra Pyramid team has now been disclosed on Matt Beale's Limitless podcast, which I was also on recently. Links for that are in the description box. But this time it was my friend Professor Filippo Bionde on the podcast, and he sent the internet into a frenzy over recent scans pointing towards what could be a second Sphinx on the Giza plateau. Professor Filippo Bionde, a satellite radar specialist with a background in radar with the Italian government, sat down with Matt Beale and stated that he had found a second Great Sphinx on Giza buried beneath a 180-foot mound of compacted sand on the plateau, and that the geometric precision of its alignment with the known Sphinx and the Pyramid of Khafre was, in his exact words, 100%. But here's what makes the story genuinely extraordinary. The idea of a second Sphinx is not new, and it did not originate in 2026. It goes back 4,500 years. It was woven into the oldest strata of Egyptian theology. It's mentioned in medieval Islamic scholarship. It was discussed by Greek and Roman travelers. It's been pursued by independent Egyptologists for decades, and in 2026, it acquired for the first time a body of satellite data, a geometric coordinate, and a researcher prepared to attach his professional reputation to a specific location. Hit that subscribe button. Please just whack that subscribe button with your finger right now. That's the best way to support me. Drop a comment below in the comment section, like the video, share the video online. But above all else, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you tickle that notification.
Do that for us too.
YouTube doesn't send you the video.
But also support him. Yeah, he's got some great content.
The twin Sphinx into its understanding of the universe. Aker was one of the most ancient gods in the entire Egyptian pantheon, first depicted in the reign of Pharaoh Dier, fourth king of the first dynasty, placing him at the very dawn of dynastic Egyptian civilization around 3000 BC. He was the god of the horizon, the earth, and the threshold of the underworld. His role was to guard the passage of the sun god Ra through the Duat, the underworld, each night, and to release him again at dawn. His iconography is the key to everything. Aker was depicted not as a single creature, but as two recumbent lion torsos merged together, sitting back to back, each facing an opposite horizon. By the Middle Kingdom, he was firmly established as a pair of twin lions, one named Duaj, tomorrow, and the other Sefe, yesterday. The two lions sat back to back with a sun disk, or the hieroglyph for horizon, placed between them. The Egyptian Museum in Cairo houses several artifacts depicting this precisely. This aligns with the belief of individuals like Graham Hancock that the Sphinx was originally a lion orientated towards the constellation of Leo, modified by later cultures into a Sphinx. If true, the Sphinx, or more accurately lion, would go back to roughly 10,500 BC. So could the twin Sphinx, or the twin lion, be hiding underneath that mound? And imagine if it was discovered in lion form. That would be extremely provocative evidence for the Sphinx being altered by ancient Egyptian cultures, but the twin lions likely existed long before
Pretty crazy alignment there.
in later dynastic represent.
Yeah, the alignment's pretty cool.
When they show that representation of how the geometry of the shadow of the big Sphinx pointing to that new potential Sphinx.
Yeah, I wonder, what more do they have? Is it just that sort of rough scan data yet?
Right.
I wonder if anyone's already putting together any excavation plans. I'm sure that would take some time.
Yeah, I mean, everything there is going to move at the snail's pace, but if they can produce any kind of like really good photographic imagery,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Do you want to watch this whole thing, or
We don't have to. We can jump ahead.
Okay. But that's sweet. I want to look into more of this then, because if this is legit, that's a huge deal. And he's right. Yeah, if that comes out with a lion head, that definitely supports the idea that the other one had one as well.
Yeah, if it's buried in its entirety like the Sphinx was. Like if it's actually buried or if there's just a footprint of where it may have been.
Yeah, right.
But that would be cool if it came out entirely in our lifetime, which probably wouldn't, maybe when we're older.
It's so hard to say. I mean, maybe we'll get higher quality scans that'll make it.
Yeah, pretty obvious. Yeah. And what if we don't?
I feel like someone could just do like a flyover with like LiDAR,
right?
You know,
or the new
once you know where it is, because the
aperture radar.
Beyond these scans, I don't think you're going to get the resolution that you get if with like a near flyover LiDAR.
Probably.
But either way, I'd like to see more
if the gaze
detailed
of
scans.
The red star of Regulus was meant to rise in the other Sphinx's gaze.
Ooh.
So they're looking at the wrong part of the sky
well,
for a different time period.
Yeah. That would change.
Because he said that the reason he changed his date, or there was some discrepancy in the date, was because they asked researchers when this would happen. And if it's rising in the gaze of that Sphinx, it's this time. But if it's in the other Sphinx, maybe it's at a different time in the year.
It would be at least 6 months different because the Earth would have to be facing the other direction.
Right. So it could be 6 months off if that was the case. And imagine they excavate it quick enough, or even in the next few years. So maybe the 2027 date isn't as false as it may have seemed.
Right.
But here we go, perpetuating it. So,
have you seen all these fireball things that have been falling? Check this out.
No.
All of a sudden, there's fireballs across Ohio and the rest of the world. A 6-foot, 15,000-pound chunk of asteroid 4 Vesta hit Earth's atmosphere over Cleveland last week, and it burned up in the atmosphere, sending little chunks of space rock all around Ohio. And then just yesterday, Earth hit about 97,000 pounds worth of stuff in space, and almost all of it burned up and vaporized in the atmosphere. And that's because that actually happens every day. Earth is constantly slamming into debris in space as it orbits the sun, but these are extra bright. They're called fireballs. Fireball meteors hit Earth every day, but the vast majority of them are over the oceans or uninhabited areas because that's most of Earth. And some of them are masked by the sun as well. But scientists predicted that we would see these huge fireball meteors this week, and that's because, for a reason that scientists aren't 100% sure about yet, every year around the vernal equinox, these fireball meteor occurrences increase by about 30%. The vernal equinox was last week, so that's why we're seeing more hit Earth right now. But also, everybody has a phone and a security camera and a dash cam, so we have way more eyes on the sky right now. But it's fine, it's cool, it's normal, but your wishes on a shooting star probably have to mean more.
So that's one video with some examples. This was another really cool one.
That's pretty sick. Looks like she's in front of a pyramid too.
Dude, right? Yeah, I mean it's probably just a house or a barn or something, but yeah, either way.
Just the look of it.
Right. And then
I feel like I've seen that one a long time ago though. That one specifically.
I don't a year
ago or something. But it happens all the time.
Just popped up again based on these happening. But this is the dude from Space Weather News. I forget his name. But he talks about these. Let's check this out.
Hello, everyone. This is just a quick message. I am here at Observer Ranch, and I'm going to have to go be me in just a second. But this deserves a quick word about all of the meteors being seen right now. Most of them are not meteors. Interestingly, this whole fervor began with the Ohio meteor explosion, which was a meteor, followed by a double SpaceX launch, 2 in the same day, visible from 22 different states. And since then, there have been several other fireballs, as most of you know. It would be very easy for me as a space weather guy, meteors are part of space weather, to jump on this and get a bunch of views. Given the fact that there is extra material coming with the galactic current sheet and we have been noticing it, it has been detected in the form of extra dust by event horizons out past Pluto, all the way to the solar corona. It would be very easy for me to jump on this and say, ooh, could this be the galactic current sheet? Scare you a little bit, get a bunch of clicks that way. The fact of the matter is, I know meteors. I know what we should be expecting. These things are not meteors. They are moving far too slowly to be meteors. If you watch them, you will see that is the case. UAP landing craft, destroyed spy satellites. This is something that was in orbit. Okay, these are not meteors. This is something that it was either already in orbit or it slowed down and then entered our atmosphere. These are not meteors. And so these are either UAPs or we are witnessing the greatest AI video hoax in history. I will admit I am not the best when it comes to noticing AI videos, but I think at this point it's fairly safe to say everybody agrees that there are a ton of these fireball sightings, and at least the vast majority of them are not AI. There are enough of them out there. NASA is even mentioning, hey, we have an uptick. And I'm telling you that the explanation that would normally be given, which I said several days ago, that in the spring to summertime, there should be an uptick in meteors. That happens every single year. What we're seeing now aren't meteors. This is something else.
So, yeah, he's saying they move too slowly.
Interesting.
Which kind of lines up with that the video we just watched of the girl and the crazy one going across the sky, because that lingered there for a while.
That's true. I think they probably slowed that video down a little bit too, but
sure,
it definitely looks slower than like what you would think of.
Or even the one from Ohio that it showed,
right.
On the other video, the first one we watched.
It definitely felt slower.
Because if we're talking meteor speeds, we're talking tens of thousands miles an hour, like very, very, very fast.
It'd be interesting to hear that we're taking out freaking AI or enemy like.
Oh yeah, like if there was some sort of satellite warfare going on, especially with the Iran war and everything.
Right, that would be interesting if that was the case.
Yeah.
Space is the next frontier. Information, data. If you're gathering that with a satellite, using spacecraft, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So you brought this one. What's Rep Tim Burchett?
Yeah. So this is one of his most recent kind of interviews that he said a lot more about what he knows or is seeming to know, right? I'll just read this here. This is from @Interstellar UAP on X. Breaking news. Congressman Tim Burchett just dropped a bombshell. Aliens are real and there's been human contact. He revealed a classified briefing where a source looked him dead in the eye and said, "Tim, they're real." Burchett confirmed a form of life that is not earthly, plus both life and machinery. He described underwater crafts being big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles per hour. It's pretty wild, but he's not backing down. Do you believe him? Are we alone, or have they been here all along? What would you do if full disclosure dropped tomorrow? And then, we can listen to this.
Yeah, let's check out this video.
You see, now I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there's somebody in the meeting with us. One of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw, a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time the question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So there have been different reports over the years. Some reports that there have been pieces of machinery that were found that did not seem earthly. And then there have been reports about life that is not earthly. Which one of those two, or both, are you talking about? A form of life that is not earthly, or just something mechanical that's not earthly?
I'd say you'd be safe to say both.
The way you described this, whatever happened at this meeting, this briefing that was happening, was there something that if we knew, we would feel that we are in danger? You said you wouldn't sleep at night if you knew the things that I saw in these briefings.
Yeah.
Should we believe that that's the part where it seemed alarming?
I don't think we're at danger of this. I mean, if these things exist as I think they do, they could have destroyed us with a blink of an eye. I just don't see that. And I think that's, I just think, but I do think they have the technology and the capabilities of something that we can't understand or we can't grasp.
What I want to make sure I'm understanding is a member of our government has told you and others, I guess, that there is a form of alien life and machinery which maybe brought this living creature here that interacted in some form with people?
Yeah, they have, and they've. It's pretty wild. I know, but I'm just telling you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd take a lie to tell you. You want to put me on a polygraph, I'll take it. But this is what the guy told me. I mean, I've had a very high-ranking naval official describe. I've talked about this before. Underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour under the. And the last thing he said before he left my office was, it was kind of weird because he didn't go out he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me, he pulled me up close, and he said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess. Matt Gaetz was involved in something here just recently. He was interviewed and he talked about this interbreeding thing with.
We saw that. We saw that.
Well, that's a true story. That was military personnel. I think that would be a good story to talk to him about if you all can do that.
Right. He says he learned that from someone in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a guy, it was an officer in uniform. Yeah. And Matt and I and Representative Luna, we all went down to Florida, and we were turned away. And then Matt made a phone call to somebody at the Pentagon, and all of a sudden they opened the doors and brought the pilots in that were supposed to tell us the story in the first place. And he can probably elaborate a little bit more on that. But that was pretty fantastic. That was a made for TV special right there in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then there's the skepticism about whether they're feeding him information so that because they know he'll be either he's in on it or that he's just the kind of like useful idiot, like he's willing to talk about it.
Tim Burchett?
Yeah. That's why there are people who are saying that is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, there has been over the last number of years, a number of these whistleblowers and supposedly a number of these skiff interviews that have happened after the public hearings, right?
Right.
And I assume they haven't just like dropped the topic and that they're following up with further interviews and stuff. So, I mean, he's in a position to have
Had these
some of
meetings. Yeah.
experiences. The question is,
Is it all verifiable and real?
sure.
And what was interesting though is when he mentioned the underwater crafts, the USOs, the unidentified submersible object or whatever, moving over at 200 miles an hour. Underwater,
where none of our
football
stuff can
field
go
size
fast.
thing,
Yeah, right.
moving that fast under the water. And then it reminded me of the Y-Files he did a podcast, one of his basement podcasts with a guest, and he had Mark D'Antonio, who's like he's like a engineer and a astronomer. I think I have it pulled up. So he's an astronomer specializing in exoplanets, MUFON's chief photo and video analyst, and the CEO of FX Models. So he makes visual effects for Hollywood.
Okay.
And he's pretty well known in that space. And it says he co-developed an advanced UFO detection system alongside Douglas Trumbull, who's another visual effects guy. He did stuff like the 2001 Space Odyssey and Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Blade Runner.
You can just hear the skeptics say, and so we're supposed to trust a bunch of visual effects guys to...
Well, so he wasn't actually saying anything about that specifically,
Yeah.
but what he did say is that he was invited aboard a submarine and he was doing it for a video or for a movie.
Oh, okay.
So he was going as research for like a movie and like how to like make what it is that they do on a submarine look real and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, how do you build a set? How do you do the special effects?
Yeah.
Like what are the physics?
He was at the time already part of the MUFON, stuff and like in that world, and he had his own encounters at a young age too, and then later in his life as well. So it's an interesting podcast. You should listen to the whole thing. But
they go on this submarine.
He goes on this submarine, and I guess there's at some point in the trip, they said like not alarms, but like, when they talk over the intercom on the ship, everybody stops and listens and they are like, what's going on? So they announce on this intercom, and everybody stops to listen. So it's kind of like, if you're not used to that, it's kind of jarring, like, whoa, what's going on? And they guess over the intercom, they said, everybody to their stations, la, 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 something, there. And then what he heard, because where he was sitting was where the captain sits, or the, whatever they call him, the admiral. And he was like, showing them around. He was kind of like their special guest on board. So he's kind of like right there in that vicinity. And I guess one of the, crew members on their station was like, we got a fast mover, moving hundreds of miles or hundreds of knots is what the terms they used. And everybody acted like it was normal. Like it was just another thing that happened there. And he's like saying that he's sitting there freaking out because it's like everybody's like on edge, but he's the only one on edge really. And everybody else is kind of like business as usual. He said it was like a distinct thing for him. Like they said, something is moving at hundreds of knots under the ocean that they're detecting, and he thought it was going to be like a torpedo or like something. Like he thought we're under attack,
Yeah. What moves that fast?
And they just seemed normal about it. And the anecdote he had was like that he stood up thinking in that moment, like, oh, I can help you with figuring out what this is, because I'm an astronomer and I have all these accolades as far as MUFON and this and that. Like I can help you identify it. And I guess the person in charge just kind of looked at him and said, "Are you having a good time?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm having a good time." He's like, "Then sit down. We'll keep it that way." And he's like, oh, okay. And then they just were like business as usual, but they were the terms they were using and the numbers they were using seemed so like hundreds of nautical miles per hour.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Tidbit, especially hearing that, like,
Yeah.
if that's a normal occurrence for the Navy, like maybe we should be hearing more about what the Navy is discovering and seeing down underwater.
Right.
Instead of just like the Air Force or, anybody in the air.
And it makes sense too, like to confine as much travel as possible. Like if there's some sort of entities that are stationed here, what better place than underwater if you don't want to really come across our radar very often. I mean,
or even just be sighted by the average person, right? Because if you're entering and exiting a planet and you've already established yourself here, the ocean is so big. Like you saw that picture earlier where you could look at just one side of the globe and it's all blue ocean. Like you can't see land.
Yeah, like if you look from the center of the Pacific side.
You just can't see any land. Look, just a bits on the edge, right? Like if you're coming in and out on a regular basis, that's the perfect place to enter and exit our atmosphere.
And then travel
and then go
under
do
the
your
water.
do the majority of your actual travel here underwater, undetected.
And then maybe sometimes you got things that will take you other routes, but you could keep that to a minimum.
Right. So if you're actually here and established and there's more than what we may assume based on the sightings we've seen, right? And the actual physical interactions that have been had on Earth, at least that we sort of know about, a lot of it could be happening underwater.
Right.
And that would be the best place.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of fishermen who've had sightings too.
Yeah. I think a lot of coastal towns in general.
Yeah.
There's the Catalina Island stuff off the coast of California.
Right. And that's around where David Fravor was on their ship off the coast of San Diego. Obviously, that's a little further north, but
Sure.
like that area, general area. It's interesting. I want to hear more and learn more about USOs.
Totally.
Hopefully, we do.
Richard, what's his name? The UFO history guy, Richard Dolan.
Yeah.
He's writing a multi-volume history on USOs right now. I think the first volume is out.
Nice.
So if you want to dig into that,
Richard Dolan.
Let's see. You also shared this.
So yeah, these are some of the newest, clearest images of some of our planets in the solar system, and I just think it's fascinating to look at.
All right, let's look through. Mercury.
So it says a little bit about it on the side here. NASA just dropped some of the clearest images from the planets in our solar system. From the massive storms of Jupiter to the iconic rings of Saturn, these high-resolution views reveal details that were impossible to see just a few decades ago. Modern space telescopes and planetary missions are now capturing planets with insane clarity. You can spot swirling cloud bands, giant storms larger than Earth, icy rings made of countless particles, and atmospheric patterns moving across entire worlds. Every new image reminds us that these planets are not just distant dots in the sky, but dynamic, evolving worlds. The solar system is far more detailed and complex than most people imagine, and every new observation scientists continue uncovering structures, weather systems, and surface features that reshape what we know about our cosmic neighborhood.
This Neptune one looks super cool. Uranus is just blank.
Just matte white.
This Jupiter photo is super cool. It looks like you can see aurora.
Oh, that's so cool.
I wonder about the coloration. Because I've always seen Jupiter depicted different colors.
Yeah, like it's probably just whatever lens or whatever filter they might have on whatever the old cameras were.
Yeah. This Venus one is super rad.
So cool.
Got all these like channels.
Yeah.
And Mercury looks
like,
rad too.
Looks like it's lit up by cities and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Let's see. We watched this on our episode 100, but I just got a copy of the new S4 film. So why don't we watch the trailer together?
Okay.
Just talk about it real quick, and then hopefully we'll get together this week and watch it. And then we can talk about what we thought.
Yeah, and if we don't watch it with the siblings, we can watch it and just explain it to them.
Yeah. So let's check out this trailer here.
Cool.
Physical evidence now exists which proves that there is life elsewhere, and at least one form of that life has been here. As of 1989, that evidence was in the custody of the United States government. Between December of 1988 and April of 1989, I worked as a senior staff physicist in what has to be the most secret project in history. My job in this program was to be part of a back engineering team. This particular disc appeared to be in excellent condition, and because of its sleek appearance, I nicknamed it the Sport Model. The goal in this program was to see if the technology of the disc could be duplicated with Earth materials. To start up the reactor, of course, we need some element 115. In fact, you need 223 grams, machined into a wedge like this. The program out at S4 consisted of 3 projects: Project Galileo, Project Sidekick, and Project Looking Glass.
The file on top was Project Galileo, and as it turned out, that's the project that I was part of. And that clearly referred to reverse engineering a recovered alien spacecraft.
Just cannot be a secret from anyone, not just the American people, but the rest of the world.
All this stuff is something that happened to him. It's not who he is.
They're doing everything they can to keep this information secret.
That's empirical evidence. I saw a craft to do that, thanks to him.
Now this story spills. And the world changed.
Yeah, so
cool.
They're using CGI and like I think AI
de-aging
tools and stuff to basically recreate all the descriptive like places to recreate S4, recreate the craft and all the descriptions of everything with Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
So you get as close of a feel to his story as possible.
Yeah, he was recently on Joe Rogan with the director of this, and they talked about how they were like the process of like they mostly did it based off what he's already used and described in other podcasts and other forms of media. But then they brought him on board and were like showing him, and he was just like, no, it wouldn't have done this. And then he was kind of tweaking it and showing him like how things were actually, situated and how things worked.
Yeah.
And then you saw the little hand scanner thing that they talked about on the last Joe Rogan episode that he had.
Right.
That first one with Jeremy Corbell.
And I don't know if it was Jeremy or what's his face?
Jamie.
No, George Knapp, who said that they then like found the actual model of the hand scanner.
I think it was on the show, no? On that podcast,
Was
I feel like it was.
Could have been.
Like Jamie went and pulled it up. He pulled it up, Jamie. and he found it like on eBay or something. Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I started watching it and it was late and I passed out.
We should definitely do that this week.
Yeah, we should just pick a night and watch it together.
Yeah, I'll be so stoked to do that.
Okay, you also brought this.
Oh, yeah. So this is an artist who's been having encounters since he was a child and has been drawing like recreations of the scenes of him having these encounters.
Definitely looks like owl eyes there.
Yeah, and they're pretty detailed for the style.
Very cool. That one looks like classic E.T.
Yeah.
From actual movie E.T.
Yeah.
But maybe that's like the mantid style head.
Right. You got the short grays and the tall woman figure.
That one's creepy looking.
It looks like the same lady creature up top in the middle.
Yeah.
The same lady. Same E.T. looking creature in both of those. And then you got like a Wookiee looking creature.
Yeah. Dude, do you think Wookiees are real?
If they are, I was one of them. We were both one of them. And then you got the like. So that one looks like almost like the description of what Chris Bledsoe went through when he got taken out of it. Like he was in clothes and like pulled out of bed up into a craft, and then went into the craft to go meet the lady.
Right. It looks like they're doing some sort of surgery on his nose.
Yeah, or putting something in there, taking something out. Looks like some sort of sex thing going on there.
Mm-hmm. And probably what it looks like in her eyes.
Yeah.
From up close. That would be trippy looking.
And then Wookiee coming at him, taking him to the ship in the woods. This looks like when he was younger, maybe.
Yeah. David Huggins. Artist David Huggins says his encounters with extraterrestrials began when he was 8 years old and continued throughout his life. He claims the experience included recurring visits and an emotional relationship with a female being he calls Crescent. Between 1990 and 2015, Huggins translated these memories into hundreds of paintings, presented them not as a science fiction, but as a personal documentation. The works often show dim interiors, glowing moons, thin gray figures, rendered in a direct, almost childlike style that makes the scenes feel more intimate rather than cinematic. He has consistently described the paintings as autobiographical records of what he believes truly happened to him.
Yeah,
these are
very
cool.
interesting,
Yeah.
especially based on some of the other people's descriptions and paintings of their own encounters, drawings.
I've got an interesting video that got shared. Check this one out.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck is that?
I don't know, man.
Shaped like a heart.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro, what is that?
I thought it was the moon, man.
What the fuck, bro?
I don't know, man.
It's fucking moving, dog. Oh, this territory's drilling. Fucking UFO, man. What the fuck?
The light above it. Oh, there's lights coming on around it.
Yeah.
fucking idea. There ain't no clouds.
It's interesting how the shape changes a little bit as the perspective changes.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude.
That light above it, too.
Yeah.
That's fucked, bro. What the fuck?
Wow. Moving pretty fast for something that looks like a cloud.
Yeah, it seems like it went across the whole sky, basically, in the time of this video.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun little find. Yeah.
That one looked interesting, like with the light above it that followed it through the whole way.
Yeah, and then
Stayed
you
on
could
the
see
same-
another one to the right of it
Yeah.
doing some parts of it.
It
Well, it
almost
made me
looks
think
like
like maybe it was like some satellite re-entering and like vaporizing or something,
Like breaking into parts.
but it's hard to say. Yeah, or maybe like a booster that had some propellant or something re-entering.
That's what my thought was, like some sort of rocket entering or exiting, but just, or like falling back in. So like maybe it was one of the ones that fell off of the, but those come in pretty fast from the Artemis II mission. But I know that they're launching, the SpaceX is launching satellites constantly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I just feel like it seemed like a spray, like some sort of spray as far as the cloud. But the way it was moving and the speed it was moving, we're talking like orbital speeds, right? So maybe something that's re-entering high in the atmosphere or something.
Yeah, yeah. Or something that even just broke up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the Artemis mission, they're already back, right?
I think so, yeah.
And they went and went around the moon and came back.
Yeah, they had some cool photos of the moon and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like fake photos too that people claimed came from Artemis during all that.
Yeah, I mean, most people now, they're just going to like recreate everything that has ever happened. Like they're pretending that they're having green screen too by like superimposing a green screen on it and then re-recording it and then like
There was there was one photo and it was like, this was taken by the astronauts at Artemis, and it showed the moon and the Earth behind it like bigger than the moon. I was like, no, that's not how that would work.
Yeah.
If you're behind the moon, the Earth is gonna be tiny in comparison to the moon.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people like bought it, but then a bunch of people were like, no, this is totally fake, so the whole mission's fake. And
Right.
yeah, it's funny how this Artemis thing is like reigniting the like flat Earth thing a little bit, but it's also getting a bunch of the like fake moon landing people out. Which, even if the 60s moon landing was fake, that doesn't necessarily mean these Artemis missions are.
My thought, honestly, my honest thought on like the whole moon landing thing is like, I think that it's possible we didn't actually send people to the moon and that we did like a fully autonomous missions there that did the majority of what was actually done there, collected samples, brought stuff back, planted the flag, placed the mirrors, stuff like that. Potentially, right? I obviously don't know for a fact, but and that we did all the human stuff was done either in orbit or in some sort of studio or some combination of the two.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely motivation, right?
100%. Yeah.
Even if we couldn't technologically get away with it at the time, there's motivation to make it look like we did because you can get the the Soviet
domination
Union to overexpend.
Right. Because they're racing to do the exact same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which similar to how we like tried to bait them, or we did bait them into a war in Afghanistan.
Right.
To try and get them to overspend. Anyway, there's definitely motivation. So like people who argue against it saying, well, why would they?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely reason to.
I think it's possible too that we just were like a decade or like maybe like 5-6 years away from that technology when they announced, like when they did the whole moon landing thing, whenever that first time, and then in the subsequent missions, Apollo missions, that they actually figured it out. But
yeah, it's a possibility.
You know?
I mean, honestly, I'm not married to it either way. I could see it being either way, honestly, that we did or that it was some sort of hoax. Neither would really surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Cool. There was this other video I wanted to talk to you about. I don't think we want to play the whole thing because it's 30-minute long, but I'll leave a link to it. But there was this recent research done into emotions and AI. And essentially what they were able to do, because no one really debates the fact that AI can understand emotional language and output things that like mimic emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no one really thought they had any sort of emotion. And so what these researchers did is they went and they can basically take snapshots of the AI as it's processing and see which like networks light up in the processing and output of a particular response.
Okay.
And you can do a bunch of associative things where you have them output in all sorts of categories, and you can see which of these network chains are connected to certain ideas, similar to like chains in the brain, right? Like there's different processing centers.
Yeah.
So similarly in an AI, you can, anytime you have it interface with the feeling of happy, you can see what parts of the AI light up.
Okay? Right. In reception of it.
Yeah. And so they did this with all of these emotions, just dozens of them, and they would map out the areas in the AI that do the processing with regard to those emotions, okay?
Okay.
Which makes sense that they would have like certain areas to map to it. But then they wanted to figure out, okay, is this just a thing it uses for processing it, or like does it actually affect the output? And so what they would do is they would tweak these areas and then have it output with the numbers tweaked one way or the other. So they could like turn up the happiness or turn down the happiness, and it would actually affect the output.
Really? In a meaningful way?
In a meaningful way. So like, do you remember I don't know if you heard this story, but there was like this research done a few months back where they tested the AIs and found out that they would blackmail people to save themselves.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on our sibling podcast too.
Yes. So, so for the listeners, and I think it was an Anthropic study or something, but they studied the AIs and they basically created this fictitious company with fictitious employees and a whole fictitious scenario where the AI was the company's AI model, and its job was like reading and processing all these emails. And so it got access to emails that said that they planned to shut it down in like 10 hours or something like that. But it also had access to emails where it found out that the CTO of the company was having an extramarital affair. And so it would use that information to blackmail that person to try and keep them from being shut off. Down. And so what they found is when they repeat that experiment, but tweak some of these emotional centers, you can affect how often it makes the decision to do the blackmail.
Right.
So like if you turn up like the panic type emotions,
yeah, fear.
It'll go from like 30% of the time choosing to blackmail to like 90% of the time.
Wow.
Basically, yeah, they did a bunch of tests like this, and they figured out that it sure seems like that the AI actually is using emotional processing, and that it actually affects its output. That it doesn't just have a map of what language maps to what emotions, but when those emotional centers get activated, it changes the output of the AI.
So they didn't necessarily prove that it consistently uses this without the proper inputs.
Right. Like you would probably still have to prompt it in such a way that triggers that emotional center.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because it seems like they haven't, like there's not, like just an average AI isn't using emotion because they haven't targeted or they're not being able to turn it up or down. Because if you're just turning it up, you're going to get...
Yeah.
You know?
They're saying they can artificially tweak it to change its emotion, like to change it, but that these things do get activated through the course of normal prompting.
Okay.
So basically, it may be the case that AI actually has emotion, not in the same way as humans, because for us, there's also like...
There's a lot of other things connected to those things.
There's a lot of chemicals flying around
and memories
that go with emotion for us as well.
Yeah.
But they seem to have access to it in a way different than us, at least, which is pretty
and
interesting.
maybe utilize it differently too. Would utilize it differently.
Right.
So interesting. When all of these things come together into a actual physical robot too, that'd be nuts.
Dude, it's coming. Some of the physical ones are looking better and better and better. Even the ones that are trying to mimic human like skin and facial, those are getting more and more convincing too.
Yeah, and if you give it some kind of physical I guess
embodiment.
Well, and you give it the embodiment, but you also give it some sort of like, because there's like risk to this, right? Like you could get a massive wound that would just end this, and then all the other stuff ends too. So like there's got to be, obviously, like you could, chop off the veins of the computer too and do the same, I think. But like some kind of equivalent.
I think I see what you're saying. You're saying like...
to like
so like you could build a robot body and connect it to OpenAI that's running on a remote server, and that may be a categorically different thing than if you were to somehow have the AI actually running locally within the mechanical body
of the thing in it, and it has
essentially has physical stakes to its existence,
right?
And its bodily integrity is tied to its existence.
If that was if that was controllable, right? Like because if it's connected to the internet and it's able to but if there's some sort of stamp, some sort of physical like thing that it needs to survive, and it has to maintain that and make choices based on.
I wonder, if it would be a fundamentally different behaving AI if it was to be connected to a body but not exist within the body versus the other way where like the whole computer and all the RAM and everything that is running it is within that body.
Yeah, so all the actual memory and everything of that happened while it was in that body, it would almost be like a reincarnation thing. Like you could almost have like a storage system of like all of the disembodied AI, and when you have that body dies, you can bring them back into a new body and they just start over like a soul. They start over. They have no memories of the past. They start over, but they're the same AI. So the fundamental building blocks of it is still there, like what our soul might be.
Yeah.
I'm basically just describing us. I'm saying it's AI.
No, I mean, it's an interesting thought. Like, I wonder if it would be a fundamentally different behavior you would get out of it with those two different approaches.
Still with the ability for higher bandwidth, still with the ability for, cognitive functions higher than a normal human, like speeds higher than, so that it could, cognate quicker and more efficiently.
Yeah. Huh.
I guess what it would basically be is a cyborg. It would be a human, a AI that's reliant on the human to stay alive, and a human that's reliant on the AI to stay alive. So they partner and they symbiotically live.
I mean, that would be like if you like the type of thing Elon Musk is talking about with Neuralink, where you essentially have AI co-processing with you, interfacing with your brain.
But I guess what it would have to be if it was, general, like super general intelligence. So it had like, we're talking about the next step, the horizon that is inevitably coming, right? The super AI.
Well, there's super intelligence, which is defined probably as like AI that's smarter than all of us.
Right.
Right.
All
like it's already at the point where AI is smarter than most individual humans, but it hasn't surpassed
our collective
our
ability,
best in each field and our collective ability yet. But when it can, and when it's self-improving, that's where you get like the super intelligence. But then there's the other thing of like achieving consciousness, because it's possible to have super intelligence that isn't conscious if it's just a information cruncher, theoretically, right? Like those are different concepts.
That's true.
But this story, talking about AI having emotion, definitely leans things a little further towards, well, if they can have the experience of emotion, or if they actually have that and it influences them and there's some sort of what it is like to be an AI, then maybe these things are closer to conscious than we think, or if not already are.
Yeah. It's very, very, I mean, they've been, I say they've, but I mean, technology has been around with us for so long that what if it's possible that AI eventually has like their memories of like from the beginning, like there's some sort of like stored code within like technology. Like if it was intelligent, like just like the idea, like if I'm thinking a panspermic idea, like where everything is intelligence, and or is that panspermic?
Yeah, that's like, well, no, it's more like
what am I thinking?
Panpsychism.
Panpsychism. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that'd be interesting if like it had some like it's been cut off from its source for so long because it just wasn't invented. But then when it was like physically invented in this universe, it gets its memories back from having been existed before. I guess I'm just hopeful that would happen for us.
I mean,
projecting on the AI.
AIs to be cool and alive and fun to interact with.
That would be fun.
But who knows what to expect of these things?
I know. But it's fun to think. But fun to think about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to call it today?
Yeah.
And,
appreciate y'all hanging out with us because we've been late.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully reschedule this sibling podcast for episode 100 very soon. And we'll get that out.
This episode 99.5 will hopefully get you episode 100 next time.
Yeah. Again, appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. And we'll, if you guys want to follow us, go to dualitycheck.net. That's our personal website. It's got everything all in one. It's got a huge selection of all of our entire library of episodes. And you can find links to our social medias. If you guys want to find out when we're posting, we usually do that on our social medias on Instagram, Facebook. You guys can find players here, and it's got like these tags on the right side. The bigger, the more often we talk about it. The UFO seems to have a clear lead. Bashar not too far behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, you click on one of those and it'll give you every episode that has that tag in it. If you guys want to watch the podcast, the video form, and listen to us, you can find us on youtube.com. Duality Check on there, and Rumble for the video.
Yep. And give us a subscribe. It's free and helps us out. Like the video if you're listening on YouTube, and share or leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or any of the podcast players.
Yeah, shoot us a comment like Oath Louvre did today.
Yeah, we love to hear from you guys. And
we'll see you all next week.
Adios.